I'm going to cover, I have some stuff in here I probably won't cover, but just, you may want it for reference. Stuff on IP connections and how to upgrade stuff, and I will cover some of that. But there's white papers on how to do that in here, some instructions that you might have to dig for if you're looking for it online. Just pull it out of my files. So I want to start with a little bit on the WebStat, and I can find the. Okay. I'm going to show you what the WebStat looks like online, actual demo site, which you can go to. If you have to do a presentation with a customer, you can actually go to this WebStat website and pull up a demo system. It's actually probably in someone's lab up in Minneapolis, and it's like webstatdemo.com, you know, the address when I get into it. And you sign in, name and password is Honeywell, all lowercase, so it's pretty easy to remember that. And when you get into that site, it will allow you to program it, change schedules, things like that that your customer would normally do, what it looks like. You could set up any display. I would strongly recommend that you go into it first, before you show it to your customer, and clean up anything that someone else has done. Because anyone in the country can use it. You're going to see that there's going to be some floor plans in there, and some schedules already put in there, and some names that you might not like. So you might want to clean those out before you show it to the customer and have it. You could even put a picture of your customer's building in there. We don't care. It's a demo site you can use. But the WebStat controller is a Jace, and I don't have one here to show you, but for those of you who've seen a Web's controller or a Jace, it's just a Jace 200, a small square box. Very similar to what's in these things. They got a black one here. The new one, the Web is white, but it's it has an appliance inside, and the appliance is what does the WebStat function. Now the WebStat's a very, very limited control. It was designed to replace a software package we call LawnStat, which used to work with the Light Commercial Building Solution, the LCBS, and it worked with the T7300 thermostat, which is obsolete. So we came up with T7350, which is this right here. We decided just to, rather than coming out with a new LawnStat program, which hardly anyone was using anyway, we would develop appliance, put inside a Jace, and sell that as our program for buildings that have strictly stats. Now, if you go to Huntington Bank, you notice there's about 500 or 600 branches that have WebStats and T7350s. They like that because of the security. They can put it behind the firewall. You can't get into it remotely, only they can internally. And they're willing to put those in. You can put up 20 stats on a WebStat, and the screen looks pretty cool. Now, I have a little presentation on this, and this is the, and by the way, this brochure is also in that disc I handed out. This is what it looks like. This particular one has 4 stats on there, shows the temperature and so on. That's what the brochure looks like, and there are those in there, and you can also order them. There's a form number in all our literature. At the bottom, the literature in the back usually is a number. If you go to literature.honeywell.com, you can order the literature. And you can also download it if you'd rather print it yourself. You can download it from customer.honeywell.com. Customer.honeywell.com is our main site that has all our literature, all the tools, presentations, the training is all there. And I'm going to show you some training that's in there also. We've got some time. This is not a long presentation. So I'm going to show you some of the stuff we have at that site to get you familiar, especially with things like IP training and so on. You know, what's an IP network? How does that work? What is, you know, what's this internet protocol? What's all this other stuff? You know, we have a little training session on that. It's not perfect. It's not. It doesn't cover everything because that's a 6-month course, but it will help you understand how to set up an IP address and what that's all about, what that address means, and things like that. What's a router? How does a router work? Things like that. This is a typical WebStat system. You have the WebStat controller right here. Not real exciting control. You know, you power it up and a little light blinks up here, and it tells you it's working. You don't see any relays clicking in and out, things like that. It just talks on a bus. In this case, we have a card in it for echelon. And that's the protocol that we use. We use the LAN protocol, which is an open protocol to talk to these devices. And the T7350H is the stat that we use. Now, the H model is the only one that communicates on the bus. The T7350Bs and Ms and so on do not. Now, there's 2 flavors of the H. There's one model that has staged outputs, so you can have 4 stages of heat and cool and things like that. And the other one has modulating outputs, so you can have a hot water valve, chill water valve, combination maybe staged cooling and hot water valve. So depending on what flavor you put in, any one of those can work on a bus. Now, the original system was 12 devices. Now you can, the newer ones are 20, and you can upgrade the license internally to get to the, with the software download, and I think I put the software on here and to get it up to 20. You can upgrade these web visions online. Now, the general installation setups is you mount the stats and sensors on the wall. You can use remote sensors, you know, all the stuff that you do with a commercial thermostat. This is our top of the line commercial stat. It has a very strong algorithm for calculating heating and cooling. It's very accurate. It does outside air connections, discharge air connections, all that stuff you can put on here. It communicates on the bus. Now, once you get the whole thing wired up, install the communication card inside the WebStat. I'm going to show you how to do that. And wire the bus to the stats, plug in the WebStat to the router, it discovers everything. Make sure you power it. This is what it looks like. This is what comes in the box. You get a power supply that plugs into the wall, the WebStat, and the card that goes into the WebStat that talks the LAN bus. Why they don't install the card at the factory, I don't know. It doesn't come with the J, so I guess they say, well, we're not going to bother putting that in. On the web visions, they do install it. And the model number, for those of you who like numbers, is W7350A1000. Now, some of the components you got to worry about. Thermostat wire, of course, between the stat and the air handler. That's your typical thermostat wire. Remember, a commercial stat, you have to power. So you got to make sure they have that extra wire to power it, you know, the common. You have an Ethernet connection for the WebStat. And if you have over 60 devices on the bus, you need a repeater. That's not even the case here because this only does 20 anyway. And your termination module, this is a very important thing. How many here work with LAN already? LAN devices. Okay, we've got a couple of you already. So you know about the termination module. You don't have this on each end of the bus. But you'll get device online, device offline, you get communication errors. This drives you nuts. A lot of alarms for no reason. And the reason being, there's a lot of